Welcome back to Rudomotive and another Rud Rod episode, the 39. And if you're wondering, the frame looks a little different. This is the frame. And well, that crap over there is also the frame, but that's old frame, not needed. Most of this is still the old frame as well. The centerpieces for under the cab are new metal, and then my side to side, which are temporary pieces, that's also new metal. But this all from the old frame. Now, I think I mentioned in the last video that I wasn't going to record all that because it wasn't anything special. I literally sat here and I cut everything up. And I think I did, well, I mean, I had everything ready beforehand anyway. So what you missed was I got my metal saw. Where the hell is that thing? Right there. And I cut out basically my measurements from there, right? So I knew how much of the front I was going to use. I knew that I was going to use the entire back, so I just cut that angle. So I cut all the angles I needed and took all the measurements, so they're all the proper lengths. Now, of course, I'm going off of my CAD model, which you guys have only seen if you've looked at Instagram. I think I might have a picture on there too. If you guys want me to show more CAD work on the channel, let me know. I've done it before, I think. But anyways, I can use, I think, the Xbox app and kind of record what I'm doing as I'm going through designing and then chop it up so it's not extremely boring, because a good portion of my design work is kind of staring at things and then redoing things and changing things and figuring it out. But I'm trying to finalize more of this so that I stop changing it. Yeah, so cab's here, you've seen that. I got the bed in here, you might have seen that. This guy still needs all of the bracketry cut off. So I'm not using any of the old suspension on the rear. I'm getting rid of the leaf on the front. I'm going to go coil over front and back, which I had coilovers for the back, but I don't have enough information on them to use them, and I technically want to get rid of the chrome, but the ones I'm getting have a black spring, but I think the housing's silver or whatever. I don't know. I haven't fully spec'd out the coilovers because I haven't figured out exactly how much the truck's going to weigh, right? It's going to be rather light. I mean, this is your truck. That's your box. The only thing I do know is the frame in SolidWorks, which is without cross members. Only cross member in there is the very back one, and the frame's 150 pounds. I believe the LS is somewhere around 600, if I remember correctly looking it up, but I haven't weighed it, right? So going over and doing spring math, I'm not there, right? But I can get shock lengths and figure out mounting points. So yeah, another thing that I did design that I do have, which I think I talked about these previously. Hopefully the battery whining isn't in the video. If it is, I apologize. Charging because, well, I just got done with more grinding. But got the body mount bushings, and I'm using the same ones for the engine mounts when I get that far, but I got some McMaster bolts, nuts, and washers. Maybe not washers. Maybe I just went with flange nuts. I think the washers are with these guys. Anyways, I did design the brackets that will weld to the frame for the cab. Had those sent through Cut Send, which is amazing. I use Cut Send. I've used it. I haven't personally used it at work, but it gets used by my place of work. Have a buddy who used it on his Z. I used it for custom computer work. I love Cut Send. So I will continue to use Cut Send because, as you can tell, I do not have room for plasma cutters, and I'll probably get a press brake at some point so I can start bending stuff. But even then, like, Cut Send is just too good. They're fast. They're reasonably priced. I don't know that I would go into powder coating and all that, just because that does get a bit expensive, but in comparison, it's really not bad. Yeah, and I had a part that Send had sent wrong. They wanted pictures. I took pictures, sent it back to them. Mind you, I did all of this around Thanksgiving for my computer build, and they pretty much looked at the pictures, were like, yeah, nope, that doesn't match the drawing you gave me. And then they instantly started on new parts Thanksgiving weekend, and I think I had them within like a week with no charge. Like, they didn't even charge me for that. So that customer service alone has me sold. Now, I'm not sponsored by them, but still going to brag about them because they're awesome. Now, back to what we're doing in this video, because I've talked about kind of what we've done to get up to this point. Took all the nasty rust off. I tried to flatten them as well as I can, because my new welding table, which was the previous video, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. It's that thing right there. I've got it flat and level, which means when I'm doing all of this stuff, I want it flat and level, because I want the frame to be as true as possible, which is one thing I didn't like about it before, is it wasn't. These, on both of these, are not done well either. It's taken everything in me not to cut them off, and I still might in the future. I don't know. My dad liked that look. It's very hot rod look. So for now, it's staying, but that's up for debate. It bugs me because they're not flat, right? And I don't know. I'm getting too critical, right? It's a rud rod. It's a mix of a rat rod and a hot rod, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but damn, my mind wants it to be perfect. So it's killing me a little bit that it's not. But at the same point, like, I do good-ish work. I do not do perfect work. I'm not that good. So the frame is going to be what the frame's going to be. I got this guy because I got a laser level. I got a 6-foot level, a 4-foot level. I've got the angle finder there. I've got this angle finder here, the tape measure. So this video is going to be putting essentially each runner, however you want to call it, of the ladder frame together. My goal is to have them completed but not attached on this video. The next video will be attaching them side by side, unless I do really well on this one. None of it's going to be finish weld. Tacking it all together, I want everything square and true before I start finish welding. So there's a good chance that I will have the frame completely mocked up, front to back, side to side, before I start finish welding. And that'll be the next episode. So this episode is just doing the side by side. I don't know how well you can see that. I'm facing me, whatever, right? Side by side, each side done as similar as possible, right? I want them damn near identical. And then the next episode will come back and I'll do these side by sides. I really should have had a 24-inch run. Maybe I have enough metal over there to do that for the back, because I think I know what length I want the back. Because right now, if you can tell, which of course you can't tell, this piece right here, this one right here, is the back for where the bed and the fuel tank and all that stuff will mount, right? This guy. I left it long. Now with adding the 3 or 4 inches to this, I can't remember. I think it was actually 3.5. It was something stupid. But adding that meant that this got that much longer, right? And my dad planned on having a 5-foot bed. And I don't think that once I slam it and I move, oh man, I've done too much in between videos. There's so much talking. I apologize. But I want to get you guys as much up to date as possible. So another thing is I'm shortening the wheelbase on this build. We'll get to that more later. But because of shortening the wheelbase, chances are I'm shortening the end of the bed. So I don't have a final length on the back. I do have a final length on the front, but none of that matters until I figure out where the motor's going. And that kind of matters because of where the axle is going, and it's a lot, right? It's a full custom build, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So we're just kind of rocking it. So it's planned out well in SolidWorks, but I don't have enough experience to tell you how well that's going to work out, right? We're going to learn that together. I think I've rambled enough. I'm going to switch over my wire in the welder so it's thick enough. And yeah, that's another thing. Hate me or not, I'm MIG welding it. I don't have a TIG welder. I don't know how to TIG weld. I've got like at most 100 hours into MIG welding. I'm not very experienced with that either, but I'm getting better. So it's going to be MIG welded. In fact, pretty much everything on this, if I'm welding it, it's going to be MIG welded. Now, later there might be stuff where I, hire out to get some TIG welds when I need it to be bougie. But we're not doing that yet. So let's get to work, right? I'm going to start out, I believe, with doing the front. So I'm going to take this guy and that guy, and I'm going to spot weld them top and bottom. And then I'm going to lay this one over the top of that one, match them up, spot weld top to bottom, and then maybe we'll come back and talk. I'm already way into this. Hopefully you guys are keeping up, and hopefully it makes sense. Feel free to ask questions down below, right? Part of what I've struggled as I've gone through doing this build is trying to learn this stuff from builds I really like. StanceWorks' Model A, I love that truck, right? I wanted to take a decent amount of cues from how he did the rear suspension, and really couldn't find anything. He didn't record anything about it. He kind of showed, you can see where the coilover mounts are. If you watch his build breakdown, you can, on Hoonigan or whatever the hell that thing's called. Anyways, you can see underneath and kind of get an idea of it, but really wasn't a lot of detail. So I'm going to talk to you guys a lot, and hopefully it gives you guys the information to get the confidence to just go do it, right? Just go do it. I need to go do it. So let's do it. Well, it's been a morning, and that's because, well, yesterday I struggled bus like hell getting the wire changed over, so I didn't get any welding done last night. But know for the future that don't tighten the feeder roller guide thingy too tight. But, here we are, going today. Now, my first go at this was a complete fail. You'll see part of it in the recording, but I'm not really going to waste a whole lot of time. I'll just explain what I did. I welded this guy to the wrong side of, I believe, this one. So these two pieces I welded on that side, which is the wrong angle. So, fail on me. Basically, my cuts kind of sucked. As you can tell, nice gapper here, and there's about where I want here. That's good. Now, for right now, it's tacked. That was another good mistake of mine, is the second go of it, I didn't do the tack strong enough because, well, this is the first time I've ever welded anything thicker than 18 gauge. So you live and you learn, but pretty happy with where it's at the moment, right? Everything is matching. I've got the degrees pretty close. I mean, it's not going to be perfect. I don't have the tools or the ability to be that precise. I'm also not building, a race car. I just need something. They're upset. Here they are. Welcome the dogs. Now back to what I was saying. It's not going to be super precise because, well, I'm not that good yet. And it's not going to be a race car. I'm not going to be going 200 miles per hour, slamming the brakes into a corner. Well, I might try it. We'll see. But it's going to be pretty damn close, right? My goal is within a degree. And then my main goal is that every flat runner is flush, right? So in this, it's level to the ground. My back is level, the front is level. Like, that's the goal, right? So I think if I can hit that, I'll be pretty happy. And these are, they're essentially spot on. I don't know if I can get a good enough angle to really show you, but like, it's pretty damn close. Am I perfect? Of course not, but it's pretty close. And then, it'll be dialed in here, and then the very back I'll cut shorter to fit the box, like I said before. So what I'm struggling at the moment is trying to decide how I want to attach the very front and the very back, because, well, that's all I got left for this video. Maybe I should go into a little more detail as well of what I've got here. So the front is a 35-degree angle, right? So I think the tire should cover about here. So you shouldn't actually see any of the flat, I don't think, until you're over the tire and you're looking down, or from the front, of course. But from the side stance, I don't think you'll see the flat. And then back here's 45 degree. I lifted the back 3.5 inches from what it was, and then the front's a hell of a jump up. It was like 6 inches up. Now I'm trying to decide, do I want to set this up like that and then have these go up and then that way so I can put a level on? Or do I want to go side by side and try and use, the table? The problem is with the table is I don't think it's quite long enough to do. I don't know. You'll see it in the video what I decide on. So right now I'm kind of just sitting in the shop staring at that. But I want to take a break and show you what I'm doing. Also, if you've seen me flappy disking, it's because, well, these two angles were, well, they're not even close. They sucked. They sucked real bad. This one's, not great, but it was, reasonable. So that one's in place good. That one, not so good. Another thing, yes, I have gaps. Yes, these welds suck. I will grind them smooth, and then I will put plates over each joint. So I'll have another 1/8 inch plate covering probably inside and outside. Because for up here, I've got a tube running side to side to mount the triangulated 4-link and the coilover. So I want to also line that up going off of that angle plate too. So, just dual purposing there. With that, I'm going to get back to trying to make this work out good. Next time you'll see me, it'll be either complete or I'm going to cut the whole damn thing up and start over. Let's not do that. I think that's enough work for this video. I did leave out the last portion because, well, it was just the same. I did not like these. They were custom done. They are not an exact match. So you end up with this, even though it's square literally everywhere else. This is how much different they are, because pretty sure these were just made. You can buy some. That's why, I'm still contemplating cutting it off here and making my own customs in the front. Just because I don't know how big of a fan I am of these, but for now I'm trying to keep them. It was definitely a look my dad was going for, so I'll try. Yeah, I've just got the tacks top and bottom, and I did top and bottom only so that I could do this, right? So now they're not exactly the same, but they're within probably a 1/16 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch worst case, which is, better than it was. But most of all, now I've got, enough for all of my drop shenanigans. And I don't know if I mentioned it, this center is longer than the previous center so that the back of the cab isn't notched anymore, so I don't lose cab space. Now, of course, it's already cut, as you can see these, but I've got to do a whole floor pan anyway, so it won't be bad to just patch it and make my own. Yeah, because there's a good chance that's where the only room I'll have for a speaker box. So for subs and that, it'll probably go there. Hello, Kara, Speedy. They've been upset. I don't let them in when I'm welding, of course, but normally they get to come in outside of that, so they're excited because I'm wrapping it up. But yeah, that's where we are. So I was contemplating, just doing the side-by-side separately and then coming back on the next video when I'm setting it down on the ground and doing the cab mounts. But I think the next video is going to be the side-by-side, and by that I mean I'm going to take the 24-ounce spacers and place them throughout and yeah, do that and get everything leveled that way. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do that. I might actually put them down on the ground and kind of jack stand it and try and level it out and shim it and all of that. I don't know. That's another day, not today. But I will be going through, and now I can add tacks here before I do that. And then the next episode, I'll probably go through and actually full weld them and flappy disk. If not, I'll do that after that video and not have you guys watch it, because I do want these welded and ground down so they're not a holdup, right? Because the more I add in, the more difficult doing that kind of thing is going to be. So I don't know what else to say on this video. Hope you're enjoying it. Leave comments. Tell me what I did wrong. Tell me what I did right. Ask questions. I know I had to have left information out. Actually, I did. So one thing I kept forgetting to do and making mistakes on, which you can see right here, I didn't do a great job. Bevel your edges when you're doing stuff like this, because if not, the welds will not have enough material and they'll just break when you start moving things around. I kept making that damn mistake. So don't copy my mistakes, all right? Learn from them. So go through, bevel when you're welding, right? Definitely when I did that, I got much better welds. Now, not saying my welds are great, because they're not, but they were much better. And, I'm still learning, never done this thick of material, so, feel free to give advice on welding frame too, with MIG weld, right? I will do TIG weld eventually. It just, if I bought a TIG welder right now, that would come out of my project's budgets. And I don't want to do that. I want, something on the damn road. So now I'll wrap it up. Thanks for watching.